Hello, it's JANG here with a look at LEGO Bionicle's Kopaka and Melum, a 2-in-1 Unity set. So here's the pair built up, and I'll go ahead and just focus on the main character first, the Toa, and then get to the creature of ice a little bit later on. Though it is a large set relative to the others, and it has a large piece count, you don't end up making an extra large or extra bulked up Toa here. It's just a pretty standard size. It just looks like it fits right in with the rest of the line. I'll show you more about that and talk more about that, how they kind of even things out in a comparison video looking at all of the Toa together. But as far as the build is concerned, the main thing that they changed here relative to a standard traditional build for the large action figures is just with the shoulders. So those are basically kind of a custom build, and they have a lot of small pieces used in there. It gives you a little bit of extra articulation, just being able to kind of lift the main shoulder, like lifting the upper arm up, elevating it a bit, and you do have full rotation forward and back. Doesn't really get in the way. There's a little spot where that piece can hit the main body armor a little bit, but you can go pretty far into there. Just leave it just barely out of the way. You can kind of bring that forward and back. That gives you a useful little extra bit of articulation there. And then beyond that, you've just got a regular elbow joint, which has a good range. It's fairly exposed. Would have been nice to get a little bit more coverage there. Maybe it looks a little bit skinny in the center, especially with this large piece that they used here to cover the forearm. Nice to get that in that dark blue color. But overall, I think that the proportions of this character end up looking pretty good, except for maybe down below with the legs. 3 of the Toa use these same armor add-on pieces for the fronts of the legs, and it makes all of them look just a little bit awkward with the vertical proportions to have just that much thickness there, especially with the thin area up above. But I think that with the Unity pieces, as they call them, used to cover up the shins, I think that the overall effect of kind of how the proportions go from top to bottom on the legs works out a little bit better actually with Kopaka than it does with the other two. It's got an extra magazine of ammo over on the side, and that's to be used with this projectile weapon, which has Technic panels with stickers, so 2 stickers included in the set. This is very easy to access. You've got your trigger mechanism back here. Basically it's all transparent, light blue, so it's got the whole ice thing going on. And then the other weapon, the main weapon that is used with the action feature, is basically his elemental blade setup, which actually looks really nice. I like the guard on that. It's another simple build, but I think it looks good, and I think that these pieces in particular work out well with the silver going into the medium azure color. The prints on the body here bring in a neon yellow color, like a neon greenish yellow color that's printed over silver. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's unique amongst the Bionicle figures to date, at least from the reboot era. It's interesting, did not expect it. Doesn't really tie in, that little bit of yellowishness doesn't really tie in with the gold here to me, but I think just by itself this section looks pretty good. It's just not necessarily expected with that particular neon yellow color for Kopaka in particular. The mask this time around, I'm very happy to get the sight, which actually has the stud piece that's placed in there, so you can change that out. You can extend it with a cylinder if you want to, and he's also got just a regular eye hole to the side of it. I think overall looks pretty good, but still a little bit generic, as most of the masks do this season. They all have the exact same or very similar look to the top of them. and the eyes don't vary too much, but it's really just the section on the side that takes it right back to the original key look of Kopaka, and it's not bad. Melum here, I think, does the white and translight blue and gold thing better than Kopaka, for sure. This actually looks like a nice continuous color scheme. I like it a lot. Yeah, that works for me. I think gold on Kopaka in general usually doesn't work, but somehow they pulled it off really nicely well here. The action feature on this one is interesting. It's a hug. Depending upon how you pose up the hands kind of in advance, just, you know, he's hugging folks. You can see it as being clapping, like, you know, start a slow clap like that. Don't really want to do a fast clap with it. Things just kind of get a little bit crazy. But for the most part, I mean, yeah, you can use these ice claws and see it as being a double scratch, like kind of interlock like that, double scratch, a grab, you know, a maul, like a old polar bear kind of thing. But to me, it just looks like a hug. It's just I love you, bro. 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 Traitor. Love you, bro. Love you, bro. Love you, bro. So there you go. Unity version. Well, doesn't necessarily work like that. Kind of limits what you can do with the elbow or with the shoulders of Kopaka, but you can move these paws up like this, kind of leave a little bit of a gap back behind there so you still get some range. Just kind of be strategic about your placement of the paws and the nails, the claws in particular. And that's what they're supposed to be trying to do, just making it look like he's kind of puffed up in the shoulders, probably with some cold weather gear or something like that, like he's got a bear hide jacket on or something like that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this particular Unity combination as much as Melum likes to hug on everybody. But yeah, I mean, his feet are just kind of, Melum's feet are just kind of hanging down back there. And the action feature here is kind of awkward in this form. I just assume leave them separate. I do like this golden mask for Kopaka, another one with the pearl gold gradiating into the translight blue. That works out pretty well. Again, doesn't go with his entire color scheme completely, but does actually tie in pretty well to his leg armor that I didn't like that much. I'll show you that in just a second, but notice how much light comes through with that into the eyes. That's a really good thing there. Looking at the whole thing, you kind of get just those two zones of that same color scheme that kind of feels like it's just added on here and doesn't really have anything to help gradiate it in between. All told, not a bad set, but I think they could have just kept these separate. I don't feel like they really gained anything here by specifically choosing to bundle these two. I'm sure that there are plenty of financial planning reasons for that, but you know, Kopaka ends up being just another Toa, another good Toa, but not particularly better or, you know, more bulky, obviously, than any of the rest. And Melum by himself, or by herself, by itself, has good character, has a cool color scheme, and kind of just a fun action feature. Maybe not so much great for battle and such, but fun indeed. You can look at this one as spreading love, not war. Let me know what you think about this set. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you again soon. Traitor! Love you, bro. Need backup! Need backup!